Okay, welcome back, guys. In this part of the class, we're going to talk about how to put together a business card using the logo that you created. And we're going to go over that in Illustrator. So, for our assignment, you're going to see that under assignments, we have business card in Illustrator is one of our assignments. That one's what we're going to be working on. Okay, so you can just start up here and read all the way down. You got to watch this great American Psycho clip about business cards, which is fantastic. As you scroll down, you're going to see a bunch of examples that ones I've designed in the past. You can make it wild or simple, whatever you want to go for. Okay, so you can either just start out in Illustrator by doing a 3.5 by 2 inches in height document, or if you want to be if you want to get really professional, let me show you how to get a template off of a business card site that you can actually use and print. So if you're going to really print this, go ahead and use a template off of a business card printing site. If you're just going to turn it in and get credit, then you can just do a 3.5 by 2 inches. So there's several business card companies. There's 4Overprint, there's Overnight Prints, there's Vistaprint, there's all kinds of them. So Overnight Prints, let's get one of their templates. So let's see. Let me see where you get their templates from. So I see here there's a start file, which this would be your template. If I'm designing in Photoshop, I'd use this one, but I'm going to be designing in Illustrator, so I'll download this one. Okay, so that just downloaded. Or it's downloading. I just want to show you this is how you really do it if you're going to have one made. So I just clicked that open, and this is what they give me. So, as you can see here, they tell you what everything is. They say use CMYK colors. They're saying to delete this instructional layer, which is this right here. To find your layers, it's right here. You're going to see they have guides on here. Those are not going to be printed. It's just a guide. They have instructions here. Okay, see that? So what they're telling you is keep all the text inside the red lines. So that's the safe zone. And then your dotted line is going to be about where they're going to cut the business card. They're going to cut it. And your green line is going to be your bleed, which means you're designing the graphics all the way past the cut line so that we don't have any white paper showing. So they're basically cutting off part of your print, just this little edge right here. Let's see, do I have any business cards around here? So I did these recently for a guy. And so we design it. Full bleed means the print goes off the edge of the page, and they cut off just that. That blue dotted line right here is where they've cut it. Okay, so the print goes all the way off the page. and it's called a full bleed when that happens. So we're going to learn how to do this. All right. Okay, so let me pull up some art that I want to use. I'm putting on the Comic-Con this year, so maybe I'll use that. If you have a business, I want you to use one that's going to be for your business. If you're thinking about starting a business, make one for that. Let me try to find my art I want to use. Okay, I'm opening it right now. Bear with me. So you'll see that a new file is opening, and this is basically a logo page that I put together for the Reading Comic-Con that I'm going to do. So my branding is that I'm using this steel kind of background. Here's my logo, and so I want my business card to match it. So I have my business card file here and a different document of my Reading Comic-Con stuff. Okay, so I'm going to just start with creating a new layer, and I'm going to start putting my art on this layer right here. It's called layer 3. So I'm going to select this art right here. I'm going to just select everything. And I'm going to go to my business card. Or actually, what I'm going to do is select it, and then copy, edit, copy. I'm going to go to my business card file, and I'm going to hit paste, edit, paste. It's going to be huge because I designed it huge, so I can go up here to my sizes and cut that down to like 5 inches, maybe 3 inches. Okay, so all my branding is going to match. Now I don't need these instructions because I already read them and I know what they say and I know what they mean. So I'm going to just make this non-visible by hitting this little eyeball button. Okay, so I'm going to start with putting my background in. I'll take this steel layer that I think is really cool. And you can go on to Google and Google any texture you want, and it can be water, it can be steel, it can be rocks, it can be anything you think would be awesome. Nice gradation, it can be watercolor, it can be whatever you think's cool. You the boss. Okay, so that's my logo I want to use. Now if I just put it in here, I don't think I'm going to have a lot of room for my text and stuff, so that's about the size I want to do it. About like that. That's about the size. Now I don't want to just stretch this out because then my logo gets stretched out. So I'm going to take some of these pieces, some of these edge pieces, take my white selection tool and select just the nodes that I want to edit, and I'm going to hold shift and pull these out, and I'm going to select these on this end. I'm going to pull these out. Okay, so I got my logo in there. I've already designed that. Now I'm going to take this text here and just hit the Alt button, and I'm going to just modify this to say basically everything I want on a business card. So everything you want on a business card is your name, job title, your contact information. Okay, so my name is Mike Morgan, the last time I checked. And my job title would be promoter. So let's say I wanted just the promoter part to be red. I can highlight it and select this same red by grabbing my eyedropper tool and clicking onto this red color that I like. Maybe I want it a little bigger. Promoter, Mike Morgan. Okay. I can hit Alt again and Shift and pull down the same text straight up, straight down. It'll still be lined up if I hold Shift. Keep in mind, if you hold Shift, it can go straight up and down. If I let go of Shift, it can get offset like that, and then it won't line up. So if you hold Shift, things can go up and down perfectly, and they can go sideways perfectly, like that. So you might want to use that. So what's important? People need to email me, Mike at readingcomiccon.com. Oh, that's hard to say. Now that at symbol is a little weird, so maybe I want to switch that at to maybe each font may have like a weird way that they do exclamation points or ampersands or the at symbol. So you can just select one little portion of it, and maybe I want to use like something different. I might go through here. I'm clicking on the characters to change the font. So maybe I might find something that makes more sense or more legible. Maybe like this one. Which isn't much better, but okay, so then the other thing you want to have on your business card is what? Phone number. And you guys can call me with questions if you want. Here's my phone number. It better be a good question, though. Or you can text me. Don't just text me, hey. Just text me like a full question, please. Who you are, where you're from, so I know what's going on. But you're welcome to text me with questions or anything. Okay, so then what you typically have is like an address, but since this is an event, I don't need the address on there. Really, all I need is my name, my email, and the phone number. That's all I really need, honestly. Okay, so I can decide if I want it centered by selecting all of these and aligning it to the center, if that looks better. Which I don't think it does, so I'm going to go back over here to this kind of look. Now I want to show you something that doesn't get you guys confused here. There's a difference between this, and then there's a difference between having different objects that are aligned or not aligned. Okay, so I can align all these by hitting align. Okay, but that's different than selecting all the text, and everything in that one text row will be center justified or left justified. So just keep that in mind, that that's a little bit different than your line. Okay, there's like justifying text, and then there's alignment of objects in text. Another question we had in the meetup recently was, you can drag out this box, and that's going to keep all your text within this text box area. Or you can do like I just did and type out some text and create new lines for it. I'm hitting Alt. Okay, and then you can individually adjust things individually. If I drag out a text box, it's a lot harder to individually mess with each line like I just did with the sizes and stuff. I'd have to highlight to get things bigger and stuff like that. So the text box is really for brochures and things like that, where you're going to have an area of content, text content, and you want it to stay within that specific area. So let me give you an example of that, because that gets confusing. This is a magazine. Okay, and so for the magazine, on the title, they probably just used one line like this, and then on CG they probably did another one and did their CG, and they made it all big like this. Okay, and then under that it says Conquered, right? So it says Conquered. So let's say, pretend this said Conquered. Bear with me on this. Okay, so because they're like kind of designing the text, but inside there is text that stays within certain boxes, right? So that's where you might have a black graphic that I just do with a rectangle, and then they might take the text tool and say, hey, I just want it to stay within this area. Okay, so let's change the font color of our text to white, and let's change something simple to read, and the font size be like 2. So now they can type all they want or copy paste content, and it'll stay within this text area. Alright, does that make sense? So that's how magazines can be put together. So there's these text boxes, and that's how you're keeping content within a certain space. So for example, on the back of your card, you may have like all these bullet points of all these services and things that you offer. You may want to use this feature maybe on the back. For my business card, I don't want anything on the back because I want to be able to maybe write on the back. You can also print your business cards flat or glossy, so that if it was flat, you can still write on the back. If it's glossy, you cannot write on the back very well unless you're using like a Sharpie, which a lot of people don't write with Sharpies. So keep that in mind. Let's do our social media logos though. I'm going to pull them up. You can go online and get them. I think I already have them on my computer. Oh, I know I have them on my computer already. How long it'll take me to find them though is a different story. Social media icons, this is what they are. Let's say I want those on my cards. So here's a social media icon set. I just double clicked a Illustrator file. This can be found online. You just type in social media icon set Adobe Illustrator. You should easily be able to find it. So let's say, because I know this business has a Facebook and an Instagram, and it will have a YouTube. It will not have a Skype or a DeviantArt or any of these other things. Probably not a Pinterest either. Definitely not a LinkedIn. Definitely not a Twitter. I'm not a Twitter fan. So I'm going to hit copy by either going to edit, copy, or in the case that I just did, I did Command C. I'm going to go back to my business card, and I'm going to Command V to paste them, or go to edit, paste. Okay, so boom. Let's say I do not like the color and I want to switch it to these. I can use my eyedropper tool. These don't need to be big. Maybe I want them lined up with this text here. Maybe about like that. Okay. So let's say I had 3 components like this, and I just want to demonstrate something for you. I'm going to change the color so you can see it a little better. I want to demonstrate something about alignment. So right now they're pretty evenly spaced apart, but let's say I had them like this, and I was like, wow, those are not evenly spaced apart. I can select all of them, and right here is a horizontal distribute center, and that's going to give you a perfect distribution. Okay, so let me illustrate that more. Let's say I had a bunch of rectangles. If I wanted to distribute those evenly, I can press this right here, and they'll distribute evenly. It's more identifiable when you have similar shapes, such as like this. I'm going to take my Alt button and duplicate this. I can hit D, Command D, and it'll repeat. But just to show you how I can get these back into order, let's say they're out of order and all out of whack, you'll use this. Let's say I wanted them in order. I can select them all, and I can like say, hey, I want them centered, which I just hit centered, and then I want them distributed horizontal. Then I can hit that and see that. Now they're perfect. But it has to be aligned to a selection right here for that to work. Otherwise, it'll align it to the artboard. If it's on artboard, what happens? It distributes it throughout that artboard. Okay. So I like to have it on aligned to selection, and then if I hit distribute it, it will distribute it perfectly. So that's just a little bit about setting up shapes, using the text box and just text lines. As far as adjusting the text and colors and things, up here is where you change your font. Pretty basic, just like most Word programs and things. You have to select the font, and you can change it here as far as the color, or you can change it up here for the color. It has to be selected first. Keep in mind that we have this feature, which is hitting this character word, and then this whole drop down window comes, and it's got these great things like tracking and let's see, if I put this at 300, let's make it more drastic, like 300, it's gonna adjust the space in between each letter. Can mess with size here, obviously, font size. Another cool thing is, like on this one, you can, on your paragraph, you can adjust how much space is in between each line, or how little space. I never use this. That's kind of interesting. You know, individual letters, you can do this situation, and maybe you wanted to make an H2O or something and you had to use that feature. So mess with that, and again, you got to select your text. This character icon will come up. You can click it one more time and then this whole window comes up. You can probably also find it right here, right? Or maybe you can't. Okay, and then, so one of the most important things is, if you send an Illustrator file to somebody, you have to convert the text to outlines, because they may not have your font, and they probably don't have your font. So converting text to outlines is where you just go like this, you click it, and create outlines. And what it does is it changes it from an editable font to actually shapes. So now I can't fix the spelling or change anything, like it's just a graphic or a shape. So now any computer in the world can read it. But you want to do this at the very end, right before you're going to print. I just hit undo. Now it's editable text because it's got lines under it, which means that's just editable text. Again, if I right click and go to create outlines, it'll convert it to shapes that can still be modified. It just can't be, you cannot use any text related features to edit it. So, let's say my business card was done. I'm going to delete all this stuff just because I don't need it. What this was is a very subtle overlay at 14% opacity. And it just gave it that one extra bit of texture. And I'm going to put that back. That's on top of everything. So it's going to be at the front. Arrange and bring to front. It's very subtle. So subtle that I'll have to zoom in here to even show you what it is. But yeah, what it did is it puts a little texture over my fonts and everything. But when let's say I wanted to click on my font, now that's in the way. I gotta like move it out of the way to get to my fonts and stuff. So I'll put that on last. Okay, and then now it's got that cool texture over my Facebook thing and everything. So what that is it's just the same image as this background. It's just I have the opacity set at 14%. And it's also on a transparency with a hard light setting. So just like in Photoshop, let me show you. Just like in Photoshop, I can bring in this logo we just made in the last part. This is a JPEG that I just put on there. If it's selected, I can go here to transparency, and I can make this be multiply, overlay. Okay, so Photoshop has this too. You probably used this when you did your photo bashing. Okay, so you can definitely bring in non-vector images, like this background is just a non-vector JPEG texture. And that will, just so you know, these bitmapped images, like what I just brought in, a JPEG is a bitmapped image where it's made up of a bunch of little dots, that will distort, will pixelize. If I go in, so if I blow this up huge, it's going to look like that upon closer look. As long as I'm aware of that, that's okay though. But my text that's all vector, if I blow it up, it's going to be razor sharp. It's going to be perfect at any size. So that's the power of Illustrator and vector objects. Okay, so you can use all those features to create your business card. Okay, so just one final look at it. Do I think that's what I want? I'll look at this with this logo a little bigger. See if I enjoy that anymore. I'm going to group these, and maybe I'll bring down my text a little more. Just nitpicking now, you know? Just kind of taking a look, step back, take a look. And I'm going to center this back over. So I just made the logo a little bigger, moved my text down, moved my social media icons down. I'm cool with that. So if I'm cool with that, I can send a print, or I can create a print file, I should say. So, so I can do save a copy, file, save a copy. A nice thing to create for a business card is a PDF. So I'm going to click this formatting and go to PDF. And I'm going to just save it to the desktop, so save. Illustrator, I want a high quality print, and I do not want anyone messing with the editing capabilities, so they won't be able to move around my images or bump anything. So I'm going to uncheck that. Save PDF is what I'll hit next. And this is what will go to print. So again, it looks like there's a lot of extra space here, but remember, it's going to be a full bleed and they're going to cut off part of that. So really my business card is going to be, you know, it's going to end like right here. Okay, so this business card PDF file is what you would upload to these guys. Well, I was going to say your business card printing people. So, for example, overnight prints. Okay, business cards, get started, and each site's set up different, but they all do the same thing. Get started here. See that? Upload your design. I just clicked upload your design. Now let's drag that PDF that I just used. Let's drag it right here. See what happens. Upload rendering, and boom! Check it out. It's right there. So we can zoom in on it, and it's telling you, look, here's the red line. That's all safe stuff. This stuff's all probably going to get cut off. So I know that business card file is production print ready. Okay, and then you just go next, 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 and pay for it and have it shipped to wherever you want. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that little demonstration on how to set up a business card. I hope you can use it for something in the future. And call me if you got any questions. Please message me on Canvas first, though. That's my preferred method of communicating with you guys, is messaging on Canvas. It comes right to my phone. It's basically the same thing. So it's less confusing for me because I have like 3 businesses and others, it gets confusing. So message me through Canvas if you got any problems. I'll try to meet up with you guys this week or next week at the actual college if any of you want to come out and just ask any questions. So we'll try to arrange that. So your assignment is to create the logo design in Illustrator and create the business card design in Illustrator. Okay? You guys have a great day. Thanks a lot.